لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear respected brothers and sisters, we are still studying together Surah Al-Baqarah from the Tafsir of Sheikh Al-Allama Sheikh Abdul Rahman bin Nasr Sa'di. May Allah have mercy upon him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان ولا يحل لكم أن تأخذوا مما آتيتموهن شيئا إلا أن يخافا ألا يقيما حدود الله فإن خفتم ألا يقيما حدود الله فلا جناح عليهما فيما افتدت به تلك حدود الله فلا تعتدوها ومن يتعد حدود الله فأولئك هم الظالمون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said divorce may be revoked twice. Then either retain her in an acceptable manner or release her with kindness. It is unlawful for you to take back from them anything that you have given them as a dowry, except if both fear that they may not be able to maintain the limits ordained by Allah. If you fear that they would not be able to maintain the limits ordained by Allah, then there is no sin on either of them if she gives back her dowry for her release. These are the limits set by Allah, so do not transgress them. Those who transgress the limits set by Allah, then they are the wrongdoers. Sheikh Abdul Rahman bin Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, during the pre-Islamic era, means the time of Al-Jahiliyyah, and the early period of Islam, man would apply an indefinite process of divorce and rapprochement. When a husband wanted to aggrieve his wife, he would divorce her and then exercise a rapprochement with her prior to the completion of al-iddah, only to divorce her again and again. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. So this was the way of the people of Jahiliyyah. So he will divorce his wife, and when she's about to end her iddah, he will take her back, only to divorce her, wal-'iyadhu billah. So when he takes her back, then she has to go through the iddah again. So by way of treachery and deception, wal-'iyadhu billah. So this was the way of the people of Jahiliyyah. This vicious cycle would continue indefinitely, and only Allah knows how aggrieved and distressed this endless game of torture made the helpless woman. For this reason, Allah decrees divorce, that is, the divorce where the husband has the right of rapprochement. Rapprochement means he could take her back. First time, second time, yes, he can take her back. But the third time, he cannot take her back until she gets remarried and then divorced. Then if they wish to reconcile, then they can do a new contract and they start all over again. طيب. The Shaykh, he said, for this reason Allah decrees divorce, that is the divorce where the husband has the right of rapprochement, means to take back his wife. Decrees, rapprochement may be twice. So if a husband is sincere and does not wish to cause harm to his wife, then he can reconsider his decision about divorce and exercise a rapprochement with her during this period. So Allah gives him an opportunity to think about what he said or what he did. He may feel regretful and take her back before the iddah ends, before her iddah ends. As far as giving divorce in excess of this, it is considered as valid divorces, because if someone divorces his wife more than twice in one sitting and applies rapprochement, he is either committing a forbidden sin or has no interest in keeping her as his wife and just wants to harm her. Hence, Allah has commanded the husband to either retain his wife, to keep her with affection and respect in an acceptable manner, treating her with respect and accommodating all her needs like other good husbands. And this is the more desirable option, or release her with kindness and spare from her in an amicable way. It is also out of pity and kindness that whatever the husband gifted or gave to his wife, he should not repossess it. Some people are like that. They become vindictive, that they have given a gift to the wife, and then when they divorce her, they say, give me back the gift. This is not correct. This is not correct. As this is oppression and will be considered as if he is demanding something without giving something in return. For this reason, Allah declares, it is not lawful for you to take back from them anything of what you have given them, except where both fear that they would be unable to maintain the limits ordained by Allah. This refers to a particular type of separation which is called al-khul'. Al-khul'. Al-khul' is not like talaq, it's different. And there are, barakallahu feekum, different distinction between talaq wal khul'. I will mention some, inshallah ta'ala. In the case of talaq, when the man divorces his wife because due to a valid reason, so he divorced his wife due to a valid reason. In the case of a talaq, the woman doesn't have to give back the dowry to the man, doesn't have to give anything back to him. This is the first distinction. In the case of al-khul', she gives the dowry back to him so that she can be released. The second distinction is that in the case of talaq, the woman stays in her husband's home until the iddah is finished. Until her iddah finished. But in the case of al-khul', it is not permissible for her to stay with him. Once he pronounces the khul' upon her and she gives him back the dowry, she is no longer his wife and he's no longer her husband. Basically, they are non-mahram to each other after he grants her the khul'. طيب. The other distinction between al-talaq wal-khul' is that in the case of talaq, the woman, as long as she is her period, she's still this man's wife. But in the case of al-khul', she's no longer his wife. So another ruling will apply here: inheritance. In case the man dies, in the case of talaq, she can inherit from him, because she is still considered his wife as long as the iddah has not ended yet. But in the case of al-khul', she cannot inherit from him because she is no longer his wife. Also, from the distinction between al-talaq wal-khul' is that in the case of al-talaq, the woman, she waits for her 3 menstrual cycle to end. 3 menstrual cycle. Let's say about 3 months. But in the case of al-khula', there is only one cycle according to the most correct opinion of the scholars. It's only one cycle. So that once the cycle is done, then the woman can get remarried in the case of al-khula'. And that cycle is just to make sure that she's not pregnant from the ex-husband. That way, the lineage is not mixed up. But in the case of talaq, the talaq is different. The woman waits for 3 menstrual cycle. The Shaykh, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said this refers to a particular type of separation called al-khula', and occurs when the wife may not be attracted to her husband's looks, habits, or religious shortcoming, and fears that she will not be able to discharge her duties. So when this occurs, then it is permissible for a woman to seek khula' from her husband, because how can you be with a man that you're not attracted to? Because now, if you're not attracted to him, then there will be no love between them, no harmony. They will not be able to be intimate with each other. So there will be no love and harmony with them. Likewise, if there is a shortcoming in his deen, like for example, he delays the salat, or he doesn't show interest when it comes to the religion and the like, then here it is permissible for a woman to ask to be freed, to be discharged and separated from her husband. This is a valid reason, which Allah has assigned to her as a wife towards him, so she can secure a divorce through khula'. If you fear that they would not be able to maintain the limits ordained by Allah, then there is no sin on either of them if she gives back her dowry for her release, which refers to the price for the release and separation which the wife herself has demanded. This noble verse proves that if there is enough reason, then khula' is permissible in the religion. These, referring to all above described commandments, are the limits set by Allah. These are the commandments that Allah has made religiously obligated upon you, and which you must obey. And those who transgress the limits set by Allah, then they are the wrongdoers, who can be a bigger oppressor than the one who crosses the boundaries of permissibility and enters the bounds of forbiddance. Is not what Allah made permissible enough for him? There are 3 kinds of transgression. Someone who transgresses in matters between him and Allah. Second, someone who commits shirk, polytheism, which is the greatest transgression. And the third, someone who transgresses in matters between him and others. Allah will never pardon shirk until the committer repents from this heinous deed. And He will also not pardon the usurping of people's right from one another. Like when you take someone's right, then you have to pay it back, take care of it. Concerning transgressions in matters that are between a person and Allah, would this transgression be less severe than shirk, then Allah might pardon it, depending entirely upon His wisdom and will. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all beneficial knowledge and righteous action. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. وصلى الله وسلم على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.